Welcome to the Activity Time Podcast, hosted by the SLE marketing team.
Welcome back, Dons. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Activity Time.
I'm Emilio.
And I'm Macy, and we're the SLE marketing team. In the previous episode, we went down memory lane and talked about our favorite places to go to in San Francisco and all the food spots that made us happy.
Today, we thought it would be great to bring in an amazing organization. Please welcome Deja, Alex, and Savannah representing SF Seeds. Woo!
Welcome, everyone.
Whoever wants to go first. Names, pronouns, major, where are you calling in from? We'd love to hear whatever you want to share.
Got you. I can go first. I'm Deja. My pronouns are she, her. My major is environmental science. I'm from Michigan, but living in San Francisco right now, and I'm the president of Seeds.
Cool. I'm Alex. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a biology major, senior year, and I'm currently located in Los Angeles, and I'm the vice president for Seeds.
Hi, I'm Savannah, she, her, hers, and I'm an environmental science major, and I'm in Seattle, Washington, where I was born, and I'm really excited to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you all. Thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk to us. I mean, something that Emilia and I found ourselves was like, we occasionally go through your find your Instagram posts, but we kind of wanted to learn a little bit more about your organization. So we thought it would be a great idea to bring you on. And yeah, I guess our first question would be, what is Seeds and what is the role it plays at USF and for students?
I'll go. So Seeds is an academic org. We're chaptered under the Ecological Society of America, or ESA, and our goal is to really help underrepresented students and students in general kind of foster a passion for ecology. And we do that by hosting field trips, by having meetings, and yeah. Does anyone want to add to that, Alex or Savannah?
It's just about what we all do, yeah.
Cool, yeah.
Nice. So just kind of touching on that, would love to learn a little bit more in depth as we go on about like the field trips and just like how you've all been working remotely too. But an early question I still have is like, how did the three of you find yourselves being involved with Seeds and where did the journey begin?
I can answer that one. So Savannah, Deja, and I, we're all part of the like original group that actually started to put Seeds together at USF. And we started in like fall semester of 2019. So we're actually like a fairly new club on campus. This is really like the first school year where we're officially recognized as like a club. And we were all sort of introduced by Alec Kiano. He's a master's student in the biology department. And during undergrad, he went to UC Davis, and at UC Davis, they have a very, I guess, active Seeds chapter there, and he was heavily involved in that Seeds chapter. So he says that like Seeds at UC Davis was one of his favorite parts about undergrad, and he was sort of inspired to bring Seeds to USF and share those experiences with us. So he started seeking out students in the biology and the environmental science departments who were interested in potentially putting a Seeds chapter together. And yeah, we all just sort of found each other through him.
Yeah, we love Alec, and Alec came to my undergraduate, it was my intro to environmental science class, and he was so passionate about like ecology, and I didn't even know what the Ecological Society of America was before him. And so he really like introduced us all to it. And he's so passionate about plants. And like when we went on a hike with him and he was identifying all the different plants, he's like total botanist and he's so awesome.
Sounds like really nice. I'm so glad that you guys got to already form these relationships at USF. And I think you all are touching a bit on this, but how has Seeds impacted your life?
So for me, I'm not an environmental science major. I'm a biology major. So most of the people, like most of my classmates, are more interested in things like medical school or dental school and like the health professions or the biotech industries. So I don't really encounter that many people who are interested in careers in like the environmental and the ecological sciences. So I guess just having Seeds as like a community, it's really nice to be surrounded by people who are interested in the environment and careers in ecology. So yeah, I really like the community that we formed.
Yeah, I would say the same thing for me. It's like about connecting with other people who share the same interests. And yeah, everyone is so awesome. And it's so nice to hear from different people as we all like kind of discover more about what ecology is. And
I definitely agree. It's definitely giving me a different perspective on what ecology is and kind of a pathway. I think that like if you're interested in going to grad school, then like Seeds kind of gives you that path and like what that might look like for you. And so it's definitely provided that for me, as well as all of the connections like Savannah and Alex said.
Kind of touching on what Savannah was saying about building connections, that's something I think our listeners would really like to know as well. Like, what projects or like events has Seeds been working on during this remote period, and what should we keep an eye out for?
That's a great question. So this semester we're trying to be more active. On March 4th, we're going to collab with, oh my gosh, I think that's next week. Okay, yes, next week. We're going to collab with UC Davis Seeds and have a sort of virtual social night and talk to them. We recently had a meeting where we watched a video and talked about ecology and how that ties into environmental justice and food security. And over spring break, we're going to kind of do a taking pictures of plants ecology sort of challenge thing. If Alex and Savannah want to.
yeah, those are like bio blitzes, and they're really fun because you can do it like from wherever you are. And so if people are in different locations or whatever, we can all kind of identify the different plants that are species in our areas, and we don't have to be all in the same place.
I'm very interested in learning more about like your background as well. I think both of you mentioned environmental science as a major and one is biology. Is that correct? Yes. So I would love to learn a little bit more about that and how it's been looking like for you so far.
The environmental science major itself, I think it's really about identifying environmental issues and then thinking of scientific ways to mitigate climate change and environmental degradation. And then through that, we also get the opportunity to learn about environmental policy and environmental law if you want to. But yeah, I guess that's sort of a small summary. Savannah, do you want to say more about that?
Yeah, that sums it up perfectly. Like it's kind of a combination of all the sciences. And so with that, it intersects with everything that humans do as well. So you get to study so many different things, and it's very like widespread and has a lot of room for different areas of study.
Yeah, it's interdisciplinary. I think that's the word.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, and for the biology major, I would also say that it's pretty interdisciplinary too, because we learn about things from like organic chemistry, because like organic molecules are very much a part of life, to ecology and evolution. You know, biology is just like a really broad field. So we learn we take classes in biology and chemistry and physics, and yeah, it's I guess mainly just about like connecting how each field kind of relates to each other and just forming this bigger understanding on like what life is really.
You all bring up a really good point about touching on like just different social issues, whether it be climate change or environmental issues. And even like in the pandemic right now, I think a lot of all the majors are very relevant. And I mean, Macy and I, we're both marketing majors, so we're in a totally different field. But something we would love to learn more is how has your major impacted the world we live in today? And something I kind of find fascinating too is like if technology has played a pivotal role in that for the three of you or not. Just kind of curious.
That is a great question. I feel like that's how people start things while they're thinking of answers to questions. But I think the major is impacting the world because I think like no matter what profession you're in or no matter what you focus on, the future of our environment impacts us all, you know? If Earth isn't here, then we're not here, no matter what you're interested in. So I think that environmental science majors in general are doing really great work to try and figure out how can we prevent climate change from furthering, or how can we come up with effective restoration practices, for example, to save species and wetlands and things like that. I think technology is huge as far as like meeting other scientists, even with all of us being under the Ecological Society of America. Like we've gotten to meet other chapters, for example, and like collab with other people, like virtually throughout the pandemic. So I think that technology is a big help. Yeah, who wants to go next?
Well, and another point too, the reason why I was curious is because especially like with the power outages recently happening in the Midwest and just kind of understanding like how do those things arise and how can we prevent it to happen again or just other solutions out there. And so that's why I was really curious. Yeah.
It's definitely a really important field, and I'm glad that we're in it. And hopefully we can come up with ways to prevent those things from happening in the future, especially as things are getting worse around the country every year.
Alex or Savannah, you want to touch on? I'm just curious if you're a major, if you've noticed any ways like that's impacted you in the world we live in.
Yeah, Deja really touched on like a lot of the important parts. And yeah, I think that the fact that we're already seeing the effects that climate change is having is just really like makes me think about how important and pressing all of this can be, even though science has never really been something that I had thought of that on like my forefront. But yeah.
Yeah, and I would say that like for the biology major, like a lot of what Deja and Savannah touched on with the environmental sciences is also applicable to like my major. And I guess like specifically for me, because I'm I also get the opportunity to be involved in like research within the biology department. So I'm in an ecology and evolutionary lab. So we study how like things like plants respond to climate change and all that. So it's really neat to kind of also be introducing more research to like certain areas with climate change and ecology that can help better understand like how these phenomena are really going to be affecting us in the future.
I have actually a follow-up question for the three of you. Just kind of curious, like, would you see a lot of the opportunities within your field, especially for recent graduates? Would you say along the West Coast, Midwest, East Coast? Definitely fascinated with that. Like where a lot of the opportunities are.
I think in general, well, for me being a senior in the major and not going to grad school next year, I've been finding a lot of opportunities in the West Coast. I think that California has like really strong environmental policy in general. So there's a lot of jobs in California, but also I think there are jobs sort of in the South, so like Virginia and the states that have a lot of like coal plants and things like that. Because coal, as we know, is being phased out and like we're switching to clean tech. There's a lot of opportunity to be a part of that and help that. So maybe a bit of everywhere, but really kind of East Coast, West Coast. And if you want to go to the cold states, then that's cool too. And be a part of something new and emerging.
Right. Another thing too, I just a fun fact, I don't know if y'all are aware, but I know like just with all gas run cars, I believe, isn't it all by like 2030 something, we're supposed to be switching to all electric, right?
Yeah, it's like, I think it's 2035.
Yeah, so it's like, I wonder how like the car industry, like if that's going to also tie into just people of environmental studies or wherever really, like if there'll be more opportunities through that. And yeah, and like through sustainability too and everything. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it definitely will. It's a really good field to be in. I think there's a lot of opportunities no matter what direction you want to go in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think as new solutions and new ideas emerge, like just more and more opportunities will be arising.
Love this discussion. I'm just listening and oh my God, it's really fascinating. And something that I've been kind of wondering is if like sustainability has different meanings. And I kind of wanted to know what is the definition that you all go by? Like, what does it mean to you, and seeds?
Whoa. I don't even know if we as an organization have like come up with like one definition. I feel like we've all taken our personal definitions and just kind of like ran with that. So I mean, I don't know. I guess we can maybe say what our personal definitions are.
Of course, definitely.
I think for me, being sustainable means living in a way where you're not creating waste. So I think that that's what sustainability means to me. And it also has to work for you and doing it not just for the planet, but doing it for yourself as well.
Yeah, I think like sustaining, for me, it'd probably be like sustaining our way of life and the planet at the same time, and trying to keep a balance between in nature, really, because we are a part of nature. It's not like that separate thing. It's like we are nature. So I say like just sustaining that balance, and trying to ensure like a healthy balance for everyone.
Yeah, and I guess just to add on to that, I also think sustainability is something that we should try to like broaden for people, because like not everyone can afford to be sustainable. Like for example, like electric cars are so expensive, like and if you're not living in a house, or if you don't have your own like parking space that doesn't have like a charging station, I mean, like, it's just like not practical for people to have an electric car if that's your case. Or if like um you're, I guess like if you want to use like reusable water bottles, but say that like your tap water is really like intoxicated with a bunch of chemicals, because like water quality isn't in the same, like not everyone has the same water quality. So buying water from the supermarket might be your best option. So I definitely think that like sustainability for me is also ensuring that everyone has the same amount of resources to live in a toxic free waste lifestyle, I guess. Yeah.
You've all touched on some really just great points there, and I know we've kind of talked about it already, but just kind of like having a recap for our listeners. Can you all share with us like why is it important for non-science majors to continue practicing sustainability and learn about ecology or climate change in our daily lives?
I guess I'm going off, well, even, yeah, going off of what Alex said, I think that like it's important for everyone to learn about ecology, even if you're not majoring in it, even if you're not in college. One thing that we talked about in our general meeting is having access to ecology and science without being in college or without going the academic the academic route. Like if you're growing a garden in your backyard, like that's science, even if you're not learning about it in a formal way. So I think there are so many different avenues to being environmentally involved, and it doesn't have to look like one way for you. Alex or Savannah, do you have anything?
If you need me to repeat the question too, I can.
Okay, I think it's also important because I guess going back to earlier, like climate change impacts everyone, especially, well, as Americans and living in the United States, like our impact on the environment is huge. So I think it's especially important for people here who have the ability to do so, to live a sustainable lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. No, that's so true, and a little bit goes a long way, really. And like just what is it now? Like from recycling to compostable plastic to waste, all of that. Like, I didn't know any of that like before coming to San Francisco. I live in a suburban area in Los Angeles, and I've noticed it's starting to become more eco-friendly, you could say, but I know there's other areas, especially around the world, where air pollution is just horrible, and even just waste everywhere. It's unfortunate, but it's nice knowing that we have a future generation trying to solve these problems, and teaching others that aren't involved in that field to still be able to live a healthier lifestyle.
I definitely agree.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember like I'm from Texas, and so coming to California my freshman year was like such a shocking thing to see like three bins instead of just one. Like it's trash and then the recycling one and then the compost one. It was all so new to me, and I was just so impressed at how like caring honestly California is, and just very impressed by the people here, the way everyone thinks. Um, so yeah, I want to thank you all for coming in and, telling us your journey through, understanding environmental science and biology. And I kind of wanted to end it, I guess, by asking like, what are some resources that, our viewers could take advantage of to learn more about living a toxic, free lifestyle? Any Instagram handles, any favorite books? It could be honestly anything.
That's like a lot. I'll start by everyone here should follow us on Instagram at SFCs and come to our events. But if you're in SF specifically and you want to get really involved, SF Environment is doing a series of workshops. I forget through which month, but they're doing them to kind of help with the climate resilience plan in SF. So if you're here and you're really interested in that, then you should go, and they do breakout rooms, and you can actually have your very own voice and make your opinions heard into what the future of SF should look like. So there's like something like local and immediate.
Yeah, a book just generally on climate change that I've been liking is All We Can Save, and it has a lot of essays from many different Americans with lots of different backgrounds talking about what kind of work they're doing in climate change. And I think that USF also has so many like different environmental clubs. So just a quick plug for like the environmental science and engineers, and BIPOC for the environment. And I think that just the presence at USF has a really like caring community towards these issues.
Yeah, and also to add on to that, like USF also has like some courses that help educate people in terms of like things like environmental justice. Like for example, I'm taking a community garden outreach course, which is the course that you can take for your service learning requirement. And you learn all about things like food deserts and food insecurity, and about like how basically the food system is structured in our country, and how that's affecting things like native populations of plants and so on. So there are definitely like courses that you could definitely take advantage of at USF while you're here if you still have like empty space in your schedule. That'd be cool.
One last question. I'm just curious, do you all happen to know if USF will be hosting like a virtual celebration of Earth Day again this year?
So right now, all of the environmental clubs are trying to put something together.
Okay.
I'm not sure if USF like itself will do something, but the environmental clubs will definitely do something.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because that was something that really got me exposed to just the environmental studies, and again, just practicing sustainability and learning different techniques and all, because like I know there were different resources that were present at that celebration too. So but that's good to know. Thanks for the update, Deja. And I guess now we could shift into our Phoenix announcements. So Student Leadership and Engagement is seeking 4 to 5 student leaders who are interested in helping design, plan, and execute the 2021 Student Leadership Virtual Conference. Also, don't forget to nominate yourself or a peer for a Student Leadership Award.
In representing your fellow classmates, want to learn more about how to become a better leader on campus? Consider running for ASUSF Senate during Dawn's elections, and you'll have the opportunity to do both and so much more. Applications are now available and close on Thursday, March 26th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Are you a music genius? Can you sing any song at the top of your lungs in the car? Join the Campus Activity Board, or other known as CAB, for Beat Shazam on Thursday, March 4th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. See if you and a friend can name the tune the fastest. First place teams get record players, and second place teams get to win a free karaoke machine.
Nice. So I want to give an opportunity again for you all to share your socials so that our viewers can follow you.
Our Instagram is SF Seeds, and then our Twitter is Seeds SF. Yeah.
Nice. And for our viewers, you can always find us at USF SLE, primarily on Instagram, occasionally on Twitter, and expanding to YouTube now. So yeah, I think I'll end it with a quote. So a quote that I found is, "Sustainability is no longer about doing less harm, it's about doing more good." And this is coming from Joshen Zaitz. Yeah, and I think that's all for today. Thank you so much all for coming in and sharing your experiences with us.
Yes.
Love that quote.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Thank you all. And this has been Activity Time. Woo!